risk.
Yeah.
You know what is the worst that can happen?
Right.
You need to force the brand, the company to innovate constantly.
Yeah.
It's not just once and I can like sit here and relax. You need to keep going to remain in the minds of your consumer.
But how can you know when you don't even try? And
exactly, what is the worst that can happen?
Right.
And you're gonna figure out it's not that bad. So every time you need to ask yourself if you are offering a product or a service that is affordable for your consumer. Play the game now, but are you sure that you're playing the game that is gonna keep you in the market?
How can we create our personal brand, and how important it was for us to start to working on our personal brand from now?
You need to be distinctive. It's not enough to be the best.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of She Inspires Me podcast series. I'm your host, Christine Tuong, and if you are new here, we introduce and empower women perspective for Millennial and Gen Z. We deliver high-quality visualized podcasts with successful women from diverse backgrounds to review their own story and learn from it. We want you to conquer the world in a better way. So guys, after so many episodes that we're recording in different workplaces, we're finally coming back to the She Inspires Me studio here in Denton, Texas. And of course, we have a very special guest. She is such an expert in marketing area. So Nohora Garcia, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Christine, for having me.
How are you feeling today?
Good, good.
So I'm so excited to having you here. So before we jump into the conversation, let's talk a little bit about you. Like, what make you end up in marketing? What are your background and who you are?
So I am an engineer, which doesn't have to do anything with marketing.
Wow, impressive.
And I did my MBA in marketing and international business. And my background, you can divide it in two things. CPG, that is my experience. I got all the foundation that I know about marketing in Kellogg's to see a company, Frito-Lay, Mondelez, like managing Oreo, that is such an amazing brand. Or a company called Nutresa, where I manage coffee and chocolate.
Yeah.
And then I decided to move to other business that is called hospitality or retail. That is about restaurants. So I moved to this company based in Colombia called Frisby. Fried chicken is a leading brand in QSR there. And I had the opportunity to move here to Atlanta. I started my career in Atlanta in restaurants here in the States, managing Cinnabon, Antians, Jamba Juice. That was amazing. And my latest position there was the global head of international marketing. And 4 years ago, almost, I moved here to Dallas and joined Pizza Hut. So I'm super happy of all these, like as you see, brands around me.
Right. Oh my God, that's awesome. Seems like you have different background, different things, and especially you came from another country, which is similar background like me. And I believe that with us, we have a lot of story to tell, and it's going to be an interesting episode. And we also are curious about different definition in different terms, because I believe that with the development of everything has just become a little bit more complicated, but it's also more innovative. So in your opinions, what is marketing?
So for me, marketing is a process. And this word is gonna be very important, and I'm gonna go to some part.
Yeah.
It's that process of promoting, selling to a target audience. So keywords here are target audience, because marketing really is about like who is your key target.
Right.
And that includes creating, that includes communication, that includes many other things. And marketing at the end is that execution of a brand strategy. Right.
So how do you see this impact to the business, in your opinion? Because I know it's have different impact in different way, right? But in your opinions, what do you think that is the key for marketing to impact the business?
In my experience, marketing is super important in the businesses, because marketing well executed is gonna bring you awareness for your brand.
Right.
It's gonna be about increasing the customer engaged. And it's going to be about sales and loyalty. Right. That is at the end what moves a business. And marketing is going to be that part that is going to set up the business, the brand, different from the other ones.
Right.
So it's going to be the way to be different, distinctive in all that sea of many, many brands that are happening out there.
Wow. I totally agree with you when you talk about different way that the marketing may impact the business, especially about defining the target audience. That's an important key. It's just like selling, right? I remember in the last episode we have another guest that she is an sales executive in Dallas Fort Worth, and she have 10K followers on LinkedIn, and she also said about this, like you need to know what is the key customer that you're selling for. You need to understand their need and understand them as a human being way. So thank you for mentioning about that. But currently, you know, everything has become so intensively competitive right now. Yeah. Especially in marketing and branding.
Yeah,
oh my God, it's going crazy.
No pause, like, keep going.
It's going crazy. So we definitely saw a lot of advantage and disadvantage. How can you see the advantage and disadvantage through those kind of trainings?
So this fast pace that we are living in all the business, and of course marketing needs to be there and ahead of the game. I see three advantages I can see.
Okay.
One is innovation, because if you really want to remain competitive, you need to force the brand, the company to innovate constantly.
Yeah.
It's not just once and I can like sit here and relax. You need to keep going to remain in the minds of your consumer. The second one is improve quality, increase quality. I think that's one of the advantages because you need to offer better products to your consumer.
Right.
And the last one, believe it or not, is lower prices because competition drives price down.
Right.
So every time you need to ask yourself if you are offering a product or a service that is affordable for your consumer to attract new consumers or retain the consumers that you have. So that's like the advantages. Now let's talk about the disadvantages.
I agree. As a consumer, I totally agree, especially with the price.
Disadvantages.
Yes.
Short-term thinking. I call it like that. It's so fast and it's so much pressure that the businesses are taking like quick decisions, which is good. But that can lead to just short-term thinking and the lack of a long-term strategy.
Right. Oh my God.
Is you play the game now, but are you sure that you're playing the game that is gonna keep you in the market?
Right.
So that's like one thing that I'm seeing that is like to watch out. The second one is the cut in cost. Of course, you need to cut costs to be competitive. That thing that I say about the prices and the quality. But some brands or companies start cutting costs. Just taking some part of the quality, outsourcing jobs, or many other things that are not really about the strategy of the company and that it remain competitive or even in the market. And the last one is something that since COVID we started talking.
Right.
But it has been there for a while. That is the burnout and the stress. Because with all this fast pace, we cannot ignore that this is taking a toll in the people, in the mental and the physical health. So that's something that we need to be aware and we need to be more conscious about that.
Right. Thank you so much for mentioning about that. And I think going with that, I believe that as a consumers, we also have to be very wise about what we're buying or what we perceive from our perspective.
I think the key thing is to have information so you can like take a decision well informed.
Right.
If you're aware that t-shirt that you just bought for $5 is gonna last 2 times and that's it, it's okay. But then you start like thinking about like the cost, the responsibility with people that was involved in that one, with the environment and many other things.
Right.
So it's like that thing that be aware, like really educate yourself about what is happening with that.
I have another question for you because I'd be honest with you, I just heard about branding lately, especially when I do She Inspire Me and I have my logo and I realized that,
which is, by the way, is awesome.
Yeah, the logo over here.
Like super cool,
And I just realized the power of branding. But in order to define branding and marketing in different ways, how can you define it? Like, what is the difference between branding and marketing?
I really like that question, Christine, because sometimes for people it's the same, and it's not the same.
I
it's
agree.
two distinct, things that we're talking, and at the end, they're going to help you to really do this process. So I'm going to say like something that for me explain everything.
Yeah.
Branding is the foundation of marketing.
Okay.
And marketing is the execution of the brand strategy.
Okay.
So let me explain that with an example. Nike. I don't know if you have watched the Air movie that is still in the theaters, and it's a great example of a brand. It's super exciting. This is not paid advertising, by the way. So Nike. When you think about Nike, think the brand is that thing that you have in your head about the logo, the reputation, the slogan. That's like the first thought that you have about the brand.
Yeah.
Nike is about
the first impression.
Exactly. So if I say Nike, for sure in your mind it come the logo, just do it, or came the icon, and you can think about the reputation of the brand around athletic apparel or equipment, of good quality. It's not like the other brand that we were just talking. It's like
good quality.
So that's the brand. And marketing is the execution of that brand strategy. So thinking about Nike is what you see in social media.
Right.
Is the TV ad that you see.
Yeah.
Is all these influencers, partnership that they are having. So all that is how they are executing that brand strategy.
So thank you so much for the answer. I think you gave us a very clear explanation between branding and marketing. And now I understand what is the difference between both of them, especially when you're mentioning about
I'm so glad.
the values of the brand, right? Whenever we think about the brand, then we think about like what is the value of the brand that bring it to us, and what is the first impression that we think about that brand. Super cool. Oh my God, I'm so happy today because I feel like I learned a lot from this conversation.
I did my part. If you learned something from this.
I supposed to ask you another question about how they're working together, like branding and marketing, but I think your answer already explained it all. So I just jump into another question then. I know that we have different background, and then you came over here, especially when you're working in executive level. So in your term of, in the term of diversity and inclusion, how can you define yourself as a female leader at work?
That diversity and inclusion is a topic that is really so close to me, and for sure to you and many of the people that are watching this podcast.
Yeah.
Because it was like something that was written in some, statement, mission in some company. Now it's something that is alive.
Yeah.
And as you say, I have a background similar to you. We are females. We come from our country. I'm Hispanic. You're Asian.
Yeah.
So we are not the majority of this country. And we have a mission here. And I think like my mission here as a leader of a team, a person that can speak out in different meetings, first is education and awareness. Because we need leaders that educate themselves about diversity and inclusion.
Right.
Not just assume what it is.
Yeah.
So if you educate yourself, you're going to be more aware what is happening. I'm going to give you some like interesting data. Like in this country, the second largest group are Hispanic. It's 20% of the people of this country in US are Hispanic.
Right.
And in 2025, it's going to be 25%.
Yeah.
So it's not even the black people. It's the Hispanic that are like the larger group.
Yeah.
So you need to be aware of that one, not just because, it's good to know what is happening. It's because your consumers, your clients,
the clients,
your team
consumers.
members are going to be Hispanic.
Right.
And then you need to be aware what can be biased, how.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about treating them in a different way.
Right.
It's about being more conscious that we come from a different background.
Yeah.
The other thing is empowerment and support. We have this responsibility of empower and support the diversity in our teams.
Right.
And really give them the resources to succeed. That's super important. And the last thing that is super important is metrics.
Yeah.
If you don't measure, anything is good. So it's important to have goals about diversity and inclusion,
Right.
and track how it's going, and really put action behind your words. Not just say, yeah, I agree, diversity and inclusion is good, it's important, of course, but be part of that.
Okay.
Not even if you are female or from a different ethnicity. I'm talking about different genders. It's so many things that right now we need to be more aware, and we need to work on that one.
Yeah.
Because remember that I said burned out and stress, that becomes part of that. When some part feel that they don't belong to the table.
Right.
Christine, because like when I started,
Yeah.
like my first job in the C-suite,
Uh-huh.
I was like I think the only woman at that level. So we just forgot that this happened like 15 years ago, 20, because now it's like normal.
Okay.
I think like now this thing of female, male, yeah, we are going to parity of gender, and we are very close. We are not there yet, but we are
very close.
We were coming from things that, being a woman was a bias. Like,
right.
And I used to say this to my husband. And my husband, by the way, is American, so we have this cross-cultural marriage, absolutely. And it's like when a woman in a position of leadership in the C-suite says something strong, it's not the same as a man says something strong. Because a man is going to be perceived, oh, cool, you're super leader,
and then
strong.
we perceive that we are too
tough.
Too tough on them, too harsh.
Tough. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, see, and it's changing.
Right.
And it's changing. But there is still people that expect from us as women to be sweet, to be all the time.
To be sweet all the time.
And it doesn't mean that you are not. But sometimes you have to say things. So, I think that kind of thing we take it for granted.
Yeah.
But we have been really moving so fast.
Right.
And we have been like changing, and that's why we need more people like you that do this kind of things.
Oh, thank you.
And put more women here that do great things, or even if they don't do it, that they are like wondering how to do it.
Oh my God, thank you so much for the story. I think it's very relatable, because us at a Gen Z, we go into school. School is like something smart book, something that life doesn't teach you about how to doing it. But I also understand and learn from this kind of story from the previous guests, and also as you as well, about, I think it's called unconscious bias in gender.
Yeah, that's the name.
They don't even know if the way that they perceive us is different from the other gender. They don't even know that. But for us, we need to be, like, we exactly know what's going on, and we have to be confident with what we're doing at work. And I also heard some other story that, there's a lot of young generation when they jump into work, and especially girls, and they feel like they also feel like they're not good enough to raise their voice, or they feel unconfident about being more themselves at work, because they thought that, oh, maybe assessment level is all male, so there's no space for me, something like that. But how can you know when you don't even try? And
exactly, what is the worst that can happen?
Right.
And you're gonna figure out it's not that bad. Be you, be authentic.
Right.
Like that for me has been my lesson. Yeah, I can be a little bit loud. Oh, because it's Latin. No, it's passion. I really like things, and I express it. So for some time in some job, I was like, no, maybe I need to be more like, low profile. No, that's not me.
That's not me.
Yeah, and that's something like super important that you're saying. Go, be yourself.
The VP of HR in my company that I'm working with, she also told me the same thing. Be yourself. Do not try to fit in. And I think it's very, very relatable to me. And I think as a woman, it's very important to define who you are and to confidence in your ability to lead and to conquer with the workplace and to concur with your life environment as well. So Nohora, if you have a time machine,
Yep.
and you go into the time machine, if you can turn back 20 years ago, what is something that you wish that you knew earlier when you were 20s?
I don't know if I knew is the word, but I'm gonna say like there are two things that I go and like whisper to myself like there in that moment. One, take more risks.
Okay.
Sometimes we overthink
Oh my God, I overthink.
or professional life.
Yeah.
And what I say, always put this question in your mind: what is the worst that can happen? It's not that bad. It's not that like horrible. So take the risk. And you know, it can be like many things. The second one is invest in your relationships. I think COVID had to happen for many of us to really value relationships.
Right.
And I mean family, friends, colleagues, team, the team that you work with. And I remember in COVID, I started calling people that I haven't talked for years. That started with me in college.
Yeah.
And why to wait? So I will say like every relationship has some meaning.
Right.
For every person. So don't take that for granted. That will be like my two things I will tell myself, like watch out with that one, and then you are gonna get better the next 20 years.
Relationship is very important because you're not gonna know who that you're surrounding with and what is something that they think about you at the first place. Like your buzz, creating your buzz around you. It's like personal branding. Oh my God, mention about personal branding. I know that this is your expertise for sure, but in your opinion, for us, especially as a college student, how can we create our personal brand and how important it was for us to start to working on our personal brand from now?
I'm not the expert, as Christine is saying. It's just that I was invited to do a speech, like some lecture at the university, and that was the topic that I said, let's talk about this one, because I wish somebody had come to me and tell me about your personal brand. So your personal brand, and I hear this one from one of your past guests here.
Yeah.
This is a quote of Jeff Bezos that say, brand is what they say about you when you leave the room, when you are not.
Right. It's from Janice Kosanovich.
Yes, Janice said that in that episode here. So imagine that. So for me, like building your personal brand is about first have a plan.
Right.
Have a goal, and if you know you want to get here, you're going to make a plan.
Yeah.
Hey, it doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. It doesn't mean it's going to, no changes I'm going to keep. No, it's going to be many things, the tours, change, blogs that you're going to have.
Yeah.
But if you have that goal clear, you're going to make a plan.
Right.
So for you, what is your plan? Where is that you want to be? And this is like the typical exercise, but it's true. Like write down what you want to be in 5, 10, 20 years.
Right.
Because that's going to help you to make that plan.
Right.
The second, and I make this with all the P's, is not the typical piece of marketing, so is plan. Then let's go to passion.
Yeah.
Passion is super important because passion is like that thing that you love.
Yeah.
And if you find your passion
attractive.
and you try to mix it with that thing that you want to do, that goal, that plan, that is what's going to inject that energy, that boost that you need to keep going.
Yeah.
The third one, people. You were saying that, Christine, a few minutes ago. You are surrounded by who?
Right.
Like, and again, it's not that you select everybody that you are surrounded, but be aware that every person around you is going to have an opinion about you. And also, I think it was Janice also that said that, or all of your guests, that at the end they're going to ask all that people if that person is ready for the next promotion. You know, it's about what your boss think about you, what your colleagues, what is like your friends, what they say even in your social media.
Right.
Because that is going to be the influence in your personal brand. And the last one is proposal of value. So in this like sea of many things, as I said at the beginning. You need to be distinctive. It's not enough to be the best.
Yeah.
You need to be distinctive.
Yeah.
You really need to create your identity.
Right.
That's why, like what you said before, being authentic, be yourself is important. If not, you're gonna be just a copycat of one person. And that's how you're gonna build that. That's how they're gonna say, hey, you know, Christine, you know, I can say now is like passionate about all this thing about leadership, empowerment, women, inspiring, plus you're pursuing a career in supply. That is amazing. So it's like that things that people are gonna say, yes, I can see Christine like doing that project in TV next time. Or, you know, like being the host of an event.
Right.
Because that's what people think when the things that you're building
right.
at the end.
I feel like some of us, especially when we go into the interview, right? And when we talk about the value, what is the kind of value that we can bring to the table? What is something that help us and to help us become a very different and outstanding candidate compared to other candidates?
Yeah.
And that's a very important message, especially when you talk about the proposal of value. Knowing who you are and what kind of value that you can bring to the table is a very important one. I have another question for you because I was amazed by a lot of information that you're just sharing about. And I know that all the audience, they're going to love it, especially when you're talking about marketing and branding and the personal branding, the key success of all of them. One more thing that I'm concerning lately, because I'm about to finish my undergrad bachelor degree soon, and I'm trying to go back to education because I find myself as someone that passionate about being professor. Like I love being in education and stuff like that. But I'm wondering, should I follow the field that I'm good at, or should I follow the field that I'm passionate about? And I know that this is not my personal concern because I know that a lot of other peers who are in the same age as me, they struggle with that as well. There's something that I'm good at, there's something that I'm passionate about. How can we meet both of them in the middle?
And you just say the answer in the middle, the balance.
Yeah.
Because imagine that you go and pursue a career about what you are passionate about.
Yeah.
Let's say that I am passionate about fashion. Love. I follow out the Met Gala. I follow up like every single what is there. And yeah, cool. But do I'm good like drawing and creating like the new pattern? That's gonna be like a lot of time and effort that I need to invest to develop that skills. And maybe I'm gonna develop that skill.
Yeah.
You know? It's like I cannot force myself to draw and do the things that I can like try, but it's gonna be hard.
Right. It's
but
like
that's
a
my
talent as
passion.
well.
But I'm not good at it. So it's gonna be something that is gonna fulfill me and I'm gonna feel so good.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be very hard that I succeed at that one. And let's find the other like extreme. Let's say if you pursue a career in something that you are good at, but you are not passionate. I'm good with numbers. Yeah, I like the math. It's good. So go and be an accountant. That's not my passion. My passion is not really like see numbers and numbers every day. So it's gonna be easy, like the way that I'm gonna like find a job and be a good accountant.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be completely unhappy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find no purpose, no meaning in what I'm doing. And you have heard about many people that I don't find purpose and meaning about what I'm doing. It's maybe because you forgot what is your passion. Right. So let's try to move to a middle. Let's try to find like your example, like this teaching or this, like what you are studying. How come?
Yeah.
Because sometimes people think that they have to just choose. No, bring a balance. Try to be, you know, I'm gonna make up this one, but maybe it's gonna be like, in all the companies, you need somebody that keep teaching the new people, onboarding. So part of your job can be like, that person that is a specialist in onboarding, like the new team members, or even when you have a client, go there and tell them what you're gonna do. So it's like many ways that you can like put the passion in the things that you are good at.
Yeah.
The important thing is that balance.
Right.
Don't go into extremes, but try to find the balance. That will be like the key thing.
I have a lot of peers that, I follow what I'm good at, and then they end up changing their major because it's not make them feel happy, it's not make them feel passionate about, and money make them stressed out because every day, and then they just go into work and getting paid, but then they didn't happy with their own career, and then they end up changing the major, but time consuming. So maybe I just keep doing that, and as we only live once, right? So I think I really want to ask this question because I think not only me, but also a lot of other peers that have to struggle with that as well. And I think it's a serious problem to figure out the answer. Seeing I know that we are young, but we need to navigate it from now to have like a better picture and a bigger picture about who we want to be in the future and for the long run. So thank you so much for your sharing. Well, that would be it for the episode today. Do you have any other question or you want to share for the audience? Any other piece of advice that you still want to share before we end up the
one
conversation?
Thing about like the last thing that we were just talking.
Yes.
It's not about just the young people. Like imagine how many people after this COVID start like rethinking their life and decide, I really like to bake.
Right.
And they start a business about baking for friends, family, and now they have a little store. Yeah. So it's like, don't put so more pressure on you guys.
Right.
It's really hard. I understand. I started college at 16. I don't know. I mean, of course, it was like horrible at the beginning. What I'm going to do? Actually, I started doing computer science engineering at the beginning. Yeah. Because I was good at math. Yeah. So the decision was because of that. Then I figured out that what I liked was like other things, so I moved my major. Yeah. But it's never late. It's like some people think that you need to make all the decisions right now. Right. So that will be like my last thing that I want to like leave your audience with this one. It's never late to think what makes you happy. Yeah. What really you want. Because we can start again and again and again. Right. This is not a race. We are gonna be at the end. Everybody's gonna arrive at the end of the race. This is about how you enjoy, how you live that journey that is called life. I feel like I need to work on myself as well. After I hearing you saying that, because sometimes I think a lot about what I want to do, and I'm still stuck from now because I feel like even when I'm doing with supply chain, I'm really good at supply chain. All the competition, price, boom, boom, boom. But then I'm not sure if in the further goals I want to do it, but it seemed like a really, safe path with a lot of opportunities coming. And I think I need to seriously think about that. And Christine, what I say, take the risk. Yeah. What is the worst that can happen? That you don't like it, So you go and find like other things that really you find like more meaning on this one. It's okay. You need to try. To find, it's like having like the perfect relationship. Like, I'm glad the people that just marry the same guy that they date for the first time. Right. But it's like you are another person in 5 years. You're another person in 10. So this about the career is important. Like, is that what I want? That's why I say, look at the plan. Right. What you want? You want to be that professor? You want to be a host in a TV show? Yeah. You want to be what? Yeah. Because make the plan. And believe me, you are going to get there. You're going to get there because you visualize yourself like in that race. That is not race. It's like we are all this. Some are running like boom. And then you see it, and at the end, we catch that person, and it's like, why you were running so much when we are going to be there together. Oh my God, I just read another article back in Vietnam, and there was a founder of a very famous seasoning brand,
in Vietnam. And I realized that he started his own startup when he was 78 or 80, but
wow.
he got successful right now, and he become one of the Shark Tank investor, and he become crazy successful right now. So I also believe that too. I believe that people with different perspectives and different experiences, when they end up following their passion, they're still gonna get success anyway. And I remember one time when I talked to my professor, and he said that, I don't know about other professor, but when I want another PhD student with me, I want that person to have diverse background in different major. That's cool, because we always think about, you know, if you want to apply for your PhD degree, especially for straight PhD student that who want to keep the master, they also would prefer someone that go with one expertise, follow the right path, you know, like only one expertise. Like if you're in logistics, you're just only supposed to do logistics in the end. But he's so different, and I think he's such a great professor to me in UNT, and he also a businessman, and he told me about too. He was like, no, I think it's dependent on different people, and I want people with different perspectives. So we're not gonna know even when we take another direction, but then we end up in another direction. But in the end, we realize that it should go that way, so that we learn things from different perspectives. Yeah, thank you so much for the conversation.
I
learned a lot from you, and I believe that the audience is gonna learn a lot from you as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine, for having me.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in our conversation today. And if you have any idea, any thoughts, any comment, don't forget to comment below and let us know your ideas about it. And if you have any questions for upcoming guests, let me know as well. Don't forget to follow our Instagram, YouTube channel, our Facebook, our LinkedIn, and I hope to see you soon next time. Bye!